going to run you through how to convert a auto freewheeling hub vehicle across to a manual freewheeling hub, and we're just going to touch on the points that are often missed even when just servicing your hubs and what can go wrong. We'll start from the inside out, and we've got the egg ring. The egg ring slides inside the hub, and that holds all of the rest of the drive gear out so that it engages properly. This is the most common piece that's missed when converting or fitting aftermarket hubs. And what it allows it to do is it allows this drive gear to float in and out, and it doesn't engage properly in the hub. The step ring is not often missed, but it's a super critical part. It's what pushes up against the egg ring, and the drive gear actually locates inside it. If you don't have that step ring, then the drive gear just floats around, and once again it can float backwards and forwards and engage and disengage in the hub. One of the problems that is common with the freewheeling hub is because they're aluminium, they can be inclined under extreme load to actually stretch the aluminium, and it cracks the hub, physically blows it apart. A really common upgrade is to fit these steel rings to them, and they go over the outside, and obviously the bolts go through them, and that stops the aluminium from being able to stretch. And that's a super common upgrade that we'd normally fit when doing the conversion. Now we'll get down there and run through putting them on. So we're going to remove the auto freewheeling hub off this vehicle. It can be a little bit common to explode these Allen keys if you put a lot of tension on them with a gun. So we're just going to crack all of these off by hand, and then we'll use our gun to slip them out. We don't need to do anything special with the hub. We literally just slide it off and pop it to the side. It's not easy to get the auto hub apart, so for future use I'd recommend wrapping it up in a rag, putting it in a plastic bag. You don't want to let it fill up with dirt and mud or water or anything like that, because then it wouldn't be able to be used if you needed to in the future. Now to convert this to a manual hub, we need to remove the circlip and the spacer washer and the thrust washer from against the spindle here. These are designed to hold the axle out against the thrust side of the spindle, but the manual hub does this differently, and so we just need to completely remove these. Okay, we're ready to start the install with the manual hub. First thing we're going to do is put the spacer ring in. The spacer ring, as we discussed before, is important because it holds everything else out against the drive gear in the hub. If you don't have this spacer ring, which is really common for these to be forgotten, they get left in the hub, people think it's part of the wheel bearing, or a lot of the cheaper aftermarket imitation manual hub assemblies don't come with this ring. We're just going to put a light smear of grease on the inside and the outside of the ring and slide it in. Next to go in is our step ring. This is the ring that the drive gear actually runs against. We want a nice lathering of grease in there for the drive gear to run against, and just a light smear on the outside like we've done with the egg ring. That can be a little bit tight to push in, depends on how worn everything is on your vehicle or how worn the step ring is to start with, but it's expected that it would protrude past the hub by about 3 millimeters. Next we've got our drive gear to go on. We just want to put a little bit of grease on the spline and a little bit of grease on the back face of the drive gear. We don't want to get too carried away, or else we can end up hydraulicking it and we can't get everything to go together properly. So we just want nice smears of grease. We want to keep this front face clean for now because we need to be able to grab it to get our circlip in. Now this is where it's different to the auto hub. The auto hub had the circlip in against the spindle holding the CV out, and the manual hub has it out on this outer ring. All of the axles have both grooves in them, so there's no difference there. You've just got to swap where the circlip actually sits. There are different thickness circlips, and it just depends on the assembly of your hub as to how much free play you've got here. You don't want it to be tight, but you don't want the axle to be able to slop around backwards and forwards. Sometimes you may need to, grab the end of the axle with something gently and just pry it out to be able to actually get the circlip to go in properly. We've got lucky in this case and it's just popped straight on. We don't like using a sealant on here because it makes it difficult. Every time you want to adjust your wheel bearing, you've got to clean all of that sealant off. They're both machine surfaces, so our preference is just to make sure that both surfaces are clean. Sometimes you might need to run a razor blade over just to make sure that it's got no extra lumps on it. We do the same thing with the hub, make sure that it's all nice and clean. And then we want to put just a light smear of grease over where the actual drive gear is engaging. We want to make sure that there's no mark or dags or anything in here. We haven't cleaned this hub up, but it doesn't hurt to get rid of the old grease out of the hub, put new grease in. Now we don't have anything special to do with this. It doesn't matter whether it's in free or lock. We're just going to gauge it. Sometimes they might need a little light tap in one direction or another, and then we're ready to bolt it up. We're going to fit these hub saver rings. These strengthen the aluminium body of the hub and stop it from stretching. It's particularly important if you've got a front diff lock. Just like doing a wheel up, we want to diagonally go around the hub so that we don't pull it in any one direction. We just work our way around and then just finish them off by hand. Can get a better feel for what the bolt's doing. That's the install complete. Lastly, we just want to make sure that we can lock it and unlock the hub.